As patterns of urbanization continue, cities are becoming increasingly crowded and more dense. As a result, urban planners are confronted with a number of challenges, particularly in regards to providing adequate green space. An unconventional solution is to convert abandoned brownfield sites such as old railway lines into new green spaces. I have focused my study on the repurposing of abandoned railroads as seen at the High Line in New York and Bloomingdale Trail in Chicago. I will compare the two to discover similarities and differences and assess both positive and negative aspects. I will start with the High Line in New York, as it is better known and serves somewhat as a precedent. I have been to the High Line earlier this year in winter, but was excited to see the place again in summer when more people were out using the space. Being a beautiful day, the park was bustling with life and was successful at attracting a lot of people. Many on their own, along with lots of couples, families and parents with prams. While the space is a walkway, it's also a place where people were choosing to stay, whether to have a nap, relax, read, eat lunch, use their laptops or just sit and listen to music. No one was bike riding, skating or with pets, as these are prohibited, and no one was running or exercising. Even on a hot day, the space was very comfortable, with ample shade and a good diversity of seating. Thoughtful design is responsible for making this space work. From the retained railway tracks, beautiful vistas over the Hudson River and city, the use of wildflowers, different levels and the incorporation of street art. All of these factors contribute to creating an oasis from the dense urban surroundings. Now to Chicago and the 606, otherwise known as the Bloomingdale Trail. In contrast to the High Line's popularity, I was surprised at how few people knew about the trail, as I found when asking locals for directions. I approached the trail from Bucktown and it was clear that it was still very much under construction, with many trees yet to be planted and areas which were still boarded off. It was interesting to see something in the making and have to use a bit of imagination to appreciate the project. I was initially surprised to see that it is very much a cycling path, as I was imagining more of the High Line style of a pedestrian-focused walkway. All access was on ramps, and paths were separated into lanes, with certain sections even separating pedestrians and cyclists. Cyclist infrastructure included bike racks and water facilities. It was a very hot day, and the walk was very uncomfortable as a pedestrian, with little to no shade. It was understandable as plants were still small and hadn't grown enough to provide protection. However, seating and rest areas were largely spread out. I felt that this favoured cyclists over pedestrians, as on a bike these rest areas were better spaced. That said, there were many people of a mixed demographic walking, running, pushing prams and exercising their dogs. Rather than a place to stay, it is designed as a linear trail to move through from one end to the other as a means of exercise and recreation. The open spaces to sit and stay in have instead been directed to pocket parks and facilities such as baseball fields and dog parks, which span outwards from the path. As it served more as a place to walk through, the trail lacked detail and design elements compared to the High Line. I was disappointed that while being on the path, there was no indication that it had been a railway line in the past and felt that this was a missed opportunity. Overall, while I was initially expecting the 606 to mimic the High Line as a precedent of reusing a railway line, the two projects have created two very different open spaces. The High Line serves as a destination for city residents to go to and escape the concrete jungle and relax at a slow pace, while the 606 provides a health-promoting space for exercise in the urban environment. In sum, both sites illustrate a successful repurpose of an unused space into a green area for public to enjoy.